Okay, yes, sir.
That has been so good.
Oh, you getting on? Okay. Peace. Peace, brothers. I want to thank you all. I'm gonna let you know on our pre-program and on the speakers, all speakers will have a timer, and so that's for those that's doing the speaking. When you get to the question part, those who would be asking the questions at that phase of the program, you will be given 30 seconds, and when that 30 seconds, that's end of your questions, and then the 3 minutes will go for the candidate to answer the questions. But those who are speaking on the pre-program, you will have 3 minutes to get in, no matter if it's a prayer, comments, what have you. You will have 3 minutes, and when you hear the buzz go off, it'll go off when you got a minute remaining to complete whatever. So just be mindful. I'm gonna show this every now and then. So when I hit it, that's it. Boom. And so when I mute you at the end of the 3 minutes, that's it, brother. We got a very packed program today, and I'm very excited about it. There's some people. Hold on one second. Some of these people in this waiting room, I don't see their name. So it's kind of hard to know who they are, especially when I'm trying to make sure we got certain folks in it. So right now, brothers, we're gonna get started, and I want to we're gonna have an opening prayer from brother oh he okay. When I hit to ask you to unmute, you can unmute your phone. So, Brother Prince Ariel Ben Israel. Prince,
Yes, sir.
no, just all you do is click the link. Yeah, it's highlighted. Click the link. It's underlined, and it'll bring you right on. Okay. Yes, sir, Imam. Yeah, thank you, Imam. Assalamu alaikum. So we're going to open up with prayer from our brother, Prince Ariel Ben Israel from Jerusalem. And he's going to open up in a prayer to cover the beginning. And he's going to do it. He'll do it in his way, Hebrew first, and then in English. So, brother, it's in your hands.
Yes, sir. Good morning, my brothers and friends, those near and far. I just want to thank my big brother, Brother Shaheed, for putting this together for us to understand the significance of working and being together, but not just in a simple word that we understand work meaning to labor, but work meaning to understand the value of collective participation so that we could arrive as well as receive the end goal, which is to be an example and to show God's life on earth through ourselves. So, Brother Shaheed, thank you for this as an opportunity. I truly appreciate it.
Some of them don't know me, but they know Emmanuel. So you can't show our history. You can't show we got that much of a history now.
That's right, brother Prince Emmanuel. You're absolutely right. We just go way back when we was in the Holy Land doing things. That's right,
Yes, sir.
moving
Yes, sir.
as the book would say, moving to and fro throughout the world. So you a brother of international status, absolutely. So if everybody would at this point bow their heads and humble their spirits, as Brother Shaheed said, me coming from the land, being born in the land we call the land of the living, Israel. I'm going to say it in two different languages, Hebrew first and then English, so that we could understand the value and the significance of both. So as we get started, we would bow our heads. Kuma Yahwa ve'afutsu oyevecha ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. Kuma Yahwa ve'afutsu oyevecha ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. Kuma Yahwa ve'afutsu oyevecha ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. In the English, rise up, O Lord, and let thy enemies be scattered, and let those that hate us flee from before us. Rise up, O Lord, and let thy enemies be scattered, and let those that hate us flee from before us. Rise up, O Lord, and let thy enemies be scattered, and let those that hate us flee from before us. Yahweh Sifatai Chief Taku Fiagi Tilateaka. God, the Holy One of Israel, thank you this morning for allowing us to be able to join in your name so that we can be able to show forth your love, your kindness, and everything that you bring, not just for us, but for your people at large. Please, this day, allow us to share necessary things so that we could be able to exude and exemplify your love amongst those that's coming into our lives. Today, we ask that you guide this conversation in such a way that would bring forth eternal life in us first, but then where we would spread it amongst your people, which is the human race. We are here humbly asking this morning that you continue to be our Father, which is our God and that director of our life. Because without you, we are nobody, we are none. And today we acknowledge you in all that we do this morning so that you continue to be that shining light for us as individuals first, but for us as a people. So today we come in humility, join hand in hand so that we can leave with the work of your love. So this morning, Shuvah Yahweh Votal Israel. Thank you, Yah. Thank you, God. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Thank you, brother. I thank you for that prayer, and may the Creator continue to bless you in your endeavors and everything. And brother, we thank you on behalf of the men all over this nation, but in particular these men who have a great task before them in the state of New Jersey. So I thank you once again, brother. And right now, brother, we're gonna bring on brother Dawu Sherrill from Compton, California. Dawu, please unmute unmute your phone, and now we turn it over to brother Dawu, who's a member of our executive committee, and Dawu is going to make some comments.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings to everybody that's on this phone call. Again, my name is Dawu Sherrill, and I'm out of Watts, California.
Watts. You in Compton? Okay, I come to apologize for that.
In the great city of Los Angeles, in the great golden state of California. Yeah, like you said, my name is again like Dawu Sherrill. I've been an activist and an organizer out here in this state, in the city of Los Angeles, for over 30-some years. I was also one of the co-founders of the American program with the late, great Jim Brown, the Hall of Fame running back who spearheaded a peace movement, which we spearheaded a peace movement during the early 90s that culminated a lot of great things that came from that, as far as in peace and creating different all type of strategies all over the United States of America, starting out with our life management skills curriculum and then putting boots on the ground. I'm like I said, an executive member of the Voices of Organic Black Men. I joined this national movement for over a year, and utilizing what we have been doing for us an experience of unifying and representing and advocating for those who have no voice, and we stand firm on that. We boots on the ground. We represent a banner of unity. And our goal is to advocate for those who need to be liberated from homelessness, drug addiction, unemployment, violence, and everything else that affect our inner city communities across this country, especially out here in Los Angeles, California. But like I say, I'm here just to give my support, my ear, and just continue to work along the lines of all the other great men who are on this line. And as we unify our efforts to advocate a new deal, unlike any other deal that's been presented to any political entity or government as it relates to us as a race of people here in America. The Voices of Organic Black Men, for me, it's a national cry and a national advocacy for the empowerment of all Black communities. And when we say organic Black men, we just don't talk about Black men, because we as Black men, we represent Black families. You know, I'm a proud husband, have over 14 children, 13 grandbabies, come from a big family. And so we represent family. It's not just when we say Black men, we don't talk as in being single. We also represent our family, our community, our race. And from a political standpoint of view, we want to give a better view of us as a race of people to this nation. And so I'd like to thank Brother Emmanuel for giving us this opportunity, this platform to bring a collective of great minds, of great people who really been working in these trenches for decades. And sometimes we don't get the recognition, but it's not about being validated by no individuals, but serving and being more, you know, responsible as our duty as Black men up under the eyes of God. And so I'd like to thank you, Brother Emmanuel, for giving us this opportunity, and just looking forward to engaging in this conversation as it relates to our New Deal and us, letting these people know what we stand for, as we are organic people who live the everyday life. We don't need no one telling us about what our life is and what our struggles and what our challenges are, because we live that every day. And so I appreciate you, brother. And I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Dawood Sherrill from Compton. Excuse me, Watts. I think I messed with you right there, from Watts, California. Right now, brother, we're going to bring on a very powerful brother. He's known as the King of Currency, Brother Amir Little from Newark, New Jersey. And he's going to give us a strong message, because we believe in building generational wealth. We spend over $1.6 trillion in our community a year. The Black community, 1.6 trillion, $6 trillion a year on stuff, and we need to change our priorities. So, brother, King of Currency, brother Amir Little, unmute your mic, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, family. Peace and blessings. How are all my brothers and sisters today? As long as you can hear me. All right, yes. So I am honored to be here with you brothers today to take part in this historical movement as the voices of organic Black men, to take our rightful place at the heads of our family in this country, and as well as in the diaspora. But I am here as a sole force of good for us to understand the economic power that we possess. That's number one. Number two, we have to understand that there's a difference in the systems that's been put in place to oppress us, right? Some of them are known and unknown. Basically, I've found that we, on average, are oppressed through this financial system, and most of us are not aware of it. So our goal collectively is to inform and empower our people to the truth of what money is, the economics behind it, the systems that are put in place for our benefit and our detriment. We just got to understand this. The voices of organic Black men have impressed me to no end, from the beginning to today, of the level of genius, wisdom, and knowledge that we have. We come from a long line of struggle, of power, right, of oppression. But this right here, this movement right here, is going to regain and restructure to allow us to take full control of our birthright, right? We are not here and was not placed here to be subjugated to economic servitude to anybody, right? To our fears, nor to this government or any other government that we exist under or we exist in. Our goal, my goal, is to educate our people in a way that we will regain our power, our strength, right? Through the understanding of unity, economic power, and generational wealth acquisition with these assets. Now, there's a key thing that we must understand, right? Wealth is nothing without health. But the things that we suffer from is because there are more people who are in poverty that are wicked than there are righteous people who are wealthy. I'm going to say that again. There are more wicked people who are in poverty than there are righteous people who are wealthy. So it is our organic birthright to make sure that as many righteous men among us regain our status, our birthright of wealth in this country and everywhere we reside, so we can make sure that there's economic freedom and equality in this system where we reside, that we call America. All right, I love y'all, brothers.
Thank you.
And I'm here for you.
We will now bring on our brother. This brother here is very powerful, brother. Brother Enan Muhammad from Hip Hop Detox, and he's the co-founder of Hip Hop Detox. Our young brother brother Enan Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, greetings, brother.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother, and peace and love to everybody that's on the call. Can you all hear me pretty well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. I'm outside, and I wanted to make sure I had a good opportunity to speak with you all before moving around. October 16th, 2025 this year is the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March. And so within the last 30 years, I know many of us who either participated in that particular march or any other that came from it, from the Million Women's March, the Million Family March, the Millions More Movement, the Justice March in 2015. I know a lot of us have participated in that, in those activities that came from it. Well, in Chicago this year, we're going to be having our third annual Males to Men Empowerment Seminar. However, this year, like the last 2 years, we've done it on October 16th. So we wanted to make sure everyone knew that because for the past 20 plus years, minimum for us, working with our young people, we've had to introduce to them not only the event Million Man March for historical purposes and the Day of Atonement, but the reasons why and what that spirit was that made it where you could have between 1.2 and 1.8 million to be in one place at one time. And there's not one murder, one burglary, one robbing, one stabbing. And so we know that the pledge that was taken by those who were present and those who witnessed it all over the world through C-SPAN and CNN, etc., those pledge items are like codes of conduct. And we see that they're still relevant and even more so relevant today than they were back in 1995. So in short, I just want to communicate to everyone that if you have an interest, because I know we're about 80, probably 84 days away from October 16th right now. If you have an interest in participating in the seminar in Chicago, we're going to have 1,000 plus young people, and we're calling on 300 men to not only be participants in an event that day that have a lot of different activities, but the goal is to follow up and follow through so that we can affect not only those young people, but affect the families and affect the professionals that work with these young people, whether it's group homes, juvenile detention centers, the high schools they come from. The goal is to have an effect that will reverberate and look at how and what we do for the course of that first year. And then we come back looking at the outcomes. So I'll stop because I was told we only have a couple of minutes because we have another part of this meeting. So I'll give you a number and I'll put it in the chat. But for those who want to follow up and follow through on what I just communicated, the number is 773-563-4315. That's 773-563-4315. If you want more information, I can make sure I send it to you directly. The website is www.hiphopdetox.org, and detox is spelled with 2 X's, DETOXX. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your discipline for your comments. I want to now, brother, we got a very powerful imam on from New Jersey, Imam Shakur Abdul Rahim, and he's going to come on and bring us a prayer from the Islamic community. Imam, can you unmute your mic at this time? Imam. Imam, can you unmute your mic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, we now ready for your prayer and your message.
Okay, my prayer is the traditional opening prayer chapter of the Qur'an called the Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. With and by the name of Allah, I seek refuge from the shaitan, the cursed, Satan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With and by the name of Allah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises are due to Him. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Maliki Yawmiddin, Master Lord of all the worlds. Iyaka na'abudu wa iyaka nasta'in. Only you do we worship, and only you do we ask for help. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Please guide us on the straight path. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Those, the path of those that you, Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, the path of those who you have blessed. Not those whom are cursed, actually. And we pray that Allah, God, the one God creator, blesses this particular meeting with all these prestigious brothers. And I see a sister on here as well.
There's a couple of sisters on here. A couple of sisters. They not gonna sit out this here one. Yes.
I see one, but anyway, no, I see three now. May God, the one God created, bless and reward all of us for taking this initiative to say something, to do something, to be about something that's going to improve the quality of our communities in every aspect. That's what it's about today, that we join together, regardless of sex, regardless, male, female, to put the work in, not just to talk about it, but to actually do something, get some things done. And may God bless you, nephew, Rabbi, for organizing this and all of those who helped you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. I love you, Unc. Assalamu alaikum. And we now, brothers, in 1969, a young man was killed a year after Dr. Martin Luther King was killed. And this young man was referred to as the Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. Well, his son is carrying on his legacy. And so I'm going to now ask Brother Fred Hampton Jr. if you will unmute your mic and come on and share with the brothers at this time.
Greetings, brother. Good to be glad to be with you. First, I'm self-critical for getting on late. As you just stated, I'm Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., the son of Chairman Fred Hampton, and also of Cool and Jerry. Ironically, I'm right by the site. I'm leaving the site exactly where he was assassinated at December 4th, 1969, along with Defense Captain Mark Clark, as part of the U.S. government's infamous COINTEL program, the counterintelligence program. And in addition to that, ironically, I'm on my way to speak on the panel at the Usabo Museum, which they're showing the film, Judas and the Black Messiah. So I'm saying all this to say also, so forgive me for kind of appearing to be semi-distracted, but again, I'm honored and humbled to be on. So I'm still rather listening with you all while I'm going to this other event. Yeah, let's call them right now. I'll call them back. Okay, yeah. So again, I presently chair the Black Panther Party Cubs, the organization that's carrying the legacy of the Black Panther Party. Just want to throw this out too. Every year we have his annual birthday celebration with Chairman Fred, August 30th, and this year we mark his 77. With the 77 years had he not been assassinated, along with Defense Captain Mark Clark. This year would be named a street in his honor on the west side of Chicago. So I want to officially invite everybody to come on out there for that. Come out to that. And please keep me abreast on, different endeavors that you all have going on. Thank you for inviting me. Of course, thank my brother, GLC. A lot of people say it's my, including myself, says that's my twin, GLC. For inviting me with this, and look forward to further communications.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Chairman. I appreciate you taking your time out to come and share with the brothers across New Jersey and across the nation. So I want to thank you for that, for those kind words. At this time, brothers, I'm going to bring on another very powerful young man, very real, heavily known in the rap and hip hop culture. This brother, some of you may know him if you listen and follow Kanye music over the years, because he appeared on numerous projects with Kanye, and Kanye referred to him as his big brother. I want to bring on right now Brother Leonard GLC Harris. Can you unmute your phone, Brother GLC? And you can,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you can follow him on Instagram. He got some very powerful messages. A new video song was released, and I mean it's real powerful and conscious. So, brother, I'm gonna start the clock on you right now, so you can go ahead. Thank you.
Man, I just wanted to say thank you kindly for allowing us to be a part of this demonstration. And I love to see the unity, and I love the fact that you were able to organize and arrange and bring all these brothers and sisters together in this righteous endeavor. Just as we are facing certain issues with the government here in Illinois, I'm sure that that's not just a local thing, that's a universal thing. And I'm rooting for all the brothers and sisters in the state of New Jersey. I want to see you all flourish. I want to see you all gain everything that you are supposed to gain, because this is righteously your opportunity to prevail. And I would love to see that. I just like to say that I represent We the Willing. And We the Willing, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little that we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. And we ain't gonna settle for nothing, because we've been settling for nothing for far too long. And at this time, man, if anybody wants to gain our vote, want to gain our interest, we need something in return for that. We need economic development. We need educational development. We need political development, because we understand that economics and politics, they go hand in hand. So we are here with the direction of just, lifting up our community as a whole from every aspect imaginable. Love and respect.
Can you update where we are with the Free Larry Hoover movement, and what the family has requested us to continue to do to get Larry Hoover completely released in the state of Illinois?
Oh, absolutely. So where we are right now with the Mr. Hoover situation, excuse me, as we know, he has been commuted on a federal level. So he's no longer in federal custody, but he is still in state custody. And we are aiming to influence our governor why this would be a righteous decision to release Mr. Hoover from state custody, because our governor has the ability to grant him a state pardon or a clemency in order for him to be released. Mr. Hoover is a man that's pushing 75. He's 74 years old. He was convicted in 1973 of a second-degree murder, and the second-degree murder took place without Mr. Hoover knowing, without him being present. And the guy who did the murder was released in the early 90s. They gave Mr. Hoover 200 years for it. Later on in life, after he began to indulge into politics and to change activists into politicians, to secure a black voters bloc, to make young men at the age of 18 register to vote, and to help get people in office, and he did that from prison. That's when he became a concern for the federal government, because he showed that not only did he have the influence to make people do wrong once upon a time, but with that same influence, he now had the vision and the wherewithal in order to make them do right and do righteous, and to form a political voting bloc. So with that being said, Mr. Hoover had been locked up for almost 30 years in Colorado, 23-1. Trump gave him clemency because he's no longer affiliated with any type of street organization. He's a 74-year-old man, and he's just aiming to come home and be with his family. Fortunate enough, the family got to go see him for the first time this weekend. It just passed. They were able to hug him. They were able to kiss him. They were able to touch him and be in his presence. His spirits are high, and we believe that Mr. Hoover will be coming home soon. So the main thing is we just want to spread the information in a proper manner, because when you hear it on the news, they always lead with murderer, murderer, murderer. Mr. Hoover has 0 murders on his federal conviction, and the only murder that he had been convicted of was a second-degree murder where he wasn't even present for when it took place.
I want to thank you, brother, for sharing and coming on. I appreciate you and much love. And I know Larry Jr. and Sister Wendy is excited that like she says, it was 30 some years since she been able to her husband and share Coke soda. So I know they was drinking up them Sprites. I don't too much care about no Coke, but thank you so very much. I love you and appreciate you. Right now, brothers, we're going to bring on a very dear brother of mine, a big brother of mine. He's been actively in New Jersey politics for a very long time and very successful. And so I reached out to him because I wanted him to come on and share some words with us on the importance of this effort and the need for black men to take a very strong stand in our community. So the former mayor of Trenton, New Jersey, the first black mayor of Trenton, New Jersey, and he served 20 years as the mayor of Trenton, New Jersey, and also he's the former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors all over the nation. So at this time, brother, where you go. Okay, Mayor Palmer, can you please unmute your mic?
Am I muted?
Yeah, you are muted. Yes, sir. So now I want to ask our brother to share some words with us, brothers. Mayor Douglas Palmer.
Well, thank you so much, my brother. This is very historic. And I put together a few thoughts that I want to read so I don't just ramble. But this is so historic. I'm glad my brother, Emmanuel Ben Abraham, allowed me to have a few minutes with you and Leroy Jones as we look forward to talking to the gubernatorial candidate, Mikie Sherrill. Brothers, I come to you today, not just as former mayor, but as a black man who has walked the streets with you, stood on the front lines with you, and fought in the trenches for justice, dignity, and opportunity for our people. I come to you with respect, humility, and the full weight of my experience and my commitment. You've built an organic agenda that is rooted in dignity, economic empowerment, self-determination, and moral clarity. I want to stand with you, not to speak for you, but to help ensure that your voice is heard at every level of power. As someone who has served in public office, I know how easy it is for the system to make promises during an election season and forget all about them after the ballots are counted. But I am committed to doing what I can on the front end and back end of this process to ensure that the right things happen beyond rhetoric. As the former mayor of Trenton, as my brother said, I had the honor of working directly with my brother Emmanuel Shahid Watson, now known as Nasik Emmanuel Ben Abraham, on powerful grassroots efforts to bring peace to our neighborhoods. Together, we pitched tents and slept out in the streets, shoulder to shoulder with our community, declaring nights without drug traffic, reclaiming the soul of our blocks, and proving that we could take back our peace by standing in it. As you know, the Black community is not monolithic. We don't all vote the same, think the same, or want the same things. And that's our strength, not our weakness. But it's time for this nation to stop treating Black men as one-dimensional and start listening to the organic grassroots voices and diverse leadership that you, my brothers, represent. The work you are doing is sacred, and I want to be clear. I am here to listen, to learn, and to work with you, to help rebuild the trust that has been broken, and to reimagine politics and policies that bring real opportunities to our communities, especially when it comes to economic justice, ownership, employment, and generational wealth. I want to be part of building that bridge. So let's have the hard conversations. Let's craft solutions together. And let's make sure that this time your voices aren't just heard, they're respected, protected, and empowered. So, yes, my brothers, it's long overdue that your organic voices must have a permanent seat at the table. And it's not as a favor, not as symbolism, but as a necessity for real, enduring change. I know that my party, the Democratic Party, has too often failed to listen. We've promised and under-delivered. We've spoken instead of heard. But I'm here now not to excuse the past, but to help forge a new future, one where we must invest in your agenda, walk beside you with integrity, and ensure that the front end and the back end of the election process produces real, measurable results. You've built something sacred, and I'm here to stand with you again, as I always have, not in front of you, but beside you. So, brothers, let's keep building together. And I say this in all respect and solidarity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Palmer. We appreciate those kind words, and we got much love for you. And at this time, brothers, I reached out to this young man I have known for, man, we go back like, I don't tell how young I am, but may tell how old he is because he's a little older than me. But we go back to 1982, 84 in Essex County, New Jersey. And right now, this brother is he's the chairman of the New Jersey Democratic Party, the statewide chairman of the New Jersey Democratic Party. And so I reached out to him and asked him, would he come on and have have an honest dialogue with the brothers. And so at this time, brothers, I want to bring on the chairman of the New Jersey Democratic Party, Brother Leroy Jones. Brother Leroy, can you unmute your mic, please?
Yes, sir, my brother.
Yes, sir.
And peace and greetings to to all, particularly Reverend clergy, the brothers that are on, more importantly the sisters that oftentimes prop us up, in our moments of despair, are truly the backbone of our families and our communities. Let me just say to my brother, the Sikh Emmanuel Shahid bin Abraham, he and I have been in the trenches for years on end. And yes, back to the early '80s. He just embarrassed me in terms of sharing my age. But that's a shared pleasure because he had to expose himself too. So, but I just wanted to thank him, and all of you, for being so vigilant, in the cause of uplifting Black men and uplifting Black men in a unified way with organic voices that speak, to our communities, whether they're in New Jersey or across this nation. Let me just start by saying that this is the reality that we're all sitting right here and now. Is Black men have been turned off, by the politics of our systems, whether whether we're Democrats or Republicans, and I can only speak to the Democratic Party, and I have to admit, and I'm going to own this, our party has been short-sighted in so many ways with respect to how we deliver what's important to our communities. And oftentimes we've as Mayor Palmer just so articulately laid out, oftentimes we've talked at you and not with you. And I'm here to say that that's been a problem, and we were not necessarily locked in on the issues that are important to us. Recognizing or not necessarily recognizing that we are not monolithic, we are individuals in nature, and those things that are important to to us as individuals should be dealt with across the board. So that failure that we experienced in the past, this is a reckoning point, I believe. And ending that, to today, going forward with a partnership with all of you who believe, in our communities, who understand, the plight that we've experienced along the way. And recognizing that we're all going to come together as one, to move as a voice that impacts and protects and grows and values our communities. Those are things that we have to come to grips with in our party. Now, I'm speaking. I don't want you to view me as, a politician speaking to you. Look at me, as you see me here. You clearly see a black man. I'm a black man first, and a politician. Sometimes, some way after that. Being a father, a husband, a grandfather, and all that. Take pride there. But knowing that, that again, we are not monolithic. We think of ourselves, we move with purpose, and we move to demand to be respected, and not managed by anyone. So as we move forward, it's going to be important that we do that shoulder to shoulder with, the voices of organic black men, with other organizations that, that feel and need, the focus that we bring to growing government, in front of us. Touching base on things like affordability, quality of education, generational wealth that, the King of Currency spoke about, earlier, which I thought he was dead on and right on point. Financial literacy is something that we have to begin to, establish in, our governmental makeup as we move forward. Social justice has always got to be at the forefront of our agenda because if you, look at the most current, events, we are always, impacted and inflicted negatively, by, the adverse, relationships that exist between us and, forms of law enforcement, housing, and more importantly, support of, black-owned businesses, have to be at our forefront, of all of our agendas. So, this is not a call, a promised action. This is more, and not platitudes. I didn't come here to make promises that I can't keep, but I did come here to do something a little bit different. That is a relationship, not a transaction. Let's build a table that, isn't just diverse, it's decisive. You belong at every level, strategy, finding, funding, contracts, appointments, policy, all that, is wrapped into, how we move forward, as a community, as a people, and, as organic black voices that will speak, to individuals in leadership and government. So, my final charge here, my brothers and those divine sisters that are on. It's hard. It is, I know it's hard, for us to believe change is real, redemption. But let's, give me a chance to prove that this ain't business as usual. Let's create a model right here in New Jersey that the rest of the country can follow. A model where black men are not just an afterthought, but a driving force. I want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to bring our candidate, who I believe, embodies all this. She may not be, an individual of our community, but she understands and is beginning to understand. And this dialogue alone is just proof positive that, she is serious about, delivering, for our communities and communities across New Jersey. So my brother Emmanuel, Mayor Palmer, Reverend clergy, all the good brothers that have assembled here today. I thank you guys. But more importantly, I got to hit the sisters because, they are the foundation of, our families. They are, the individuals that grow and nurture. They are the vessels of life. We thank you, sisters, for being all that you can to support black men to uphold Black men and to be the foundation of our families. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Brother Chairman. I appreciate you. And at this time, brothers, we're going to uh, Bishop Robert Hargrove. Can you unmute your phone? We're going to now have prayer from Bishop Robert Hargrove, who is also on our executive committee. Can you pray at this time? Because shortly the Congresswoman is scheduled to be on any second, and I want to make certain we go right into the interviews. And so those brothers that have the set questions, I want you to be ready. When I unmute you, you up next. So I want to make certain that you are ready for when that happens. But Bishop Robert Hargrove.
Greetings, family, from the great city of Atlantic City. Let's bend our hearts to God. Most holy, everlasting, and almighty God, who from the beginning said, "Let there be light." We gather here today seeking your presence among us. We invite your guidance as we engage in discussions that impact our community and our nation. May our hearts and minds be united in the pursuit of the common good. And may we approach our deliberations with humility and respect for one another. Grant us wisdom as we navigate the challenge before us. Help us to make decisions that reflect your will and promote justice, compassion, and understanding. In a time when political discourse can also be divisive, let us remember the importance of listening to one another and working together for the greater good. We ask for your blessing on our conversations and decisions today. May they be fruitful and lead to outcomes that honor you and serve our community well. As we strive to fulfill our responsibilities, remind us of the higher calling we share to serve others with integrity and grace. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So I thank you, Bishop Hargrove. Brothers and sisters, just hold on. The Congresswoman will be on very shortly, and we'll be ready to continue. Just give us a second, and we'll be right there. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I want to say, brother Jimmy, you will be the first one to ask a question. Salam, you will be the second question. Brother Julius, you'll be third, and then I'll let everybody else know from there. Jenkins, I think you're going to be four. No, Brother Jenkins will have to be excuse me. Jimmy will be first, and then Salam, you will be second, and then Bishop Earl Jenkins, you will be the third question. Okay, and James Osborne, I'll go back to you when you got to do yours, and I will continue to move on from there. Okay. We're going to move right along. If you see, this has been very powerful. I want to thank you, brothers, for being very disciplined in the pre-program. And I know for certain that the brothers who have the assigned questions, that you will be very disciplined also in the question, because we want to make certain that the candidate will have 3 minutes. She will have 3 minutes to answer the question, and she will be on timer. And so the brothers got 30 seconds to ask their question, and she got 3 minutes to answer, or she gonna get the buzzer. So hey, Joe, you like that, huh? I see you. Yeah, so we got to be precise, because she got so much time, and we got so many questions, very powerful questions, and these are the same questions that was asked to the Republican candidate for governor. And so therefore we're not going to answer any questions any different that we imposed on him. And so we're going to be fair and honest, and I think that we're going to have a very enlightened conversation. So she will be on any moment. Boy, y'all look good. Y'all look good on here. I went on the other screen. I don't know if y'all can see the other screen. The people look good on the other screen too. So, y'all some beautiful black people, boy. Oh, listen, oh, they go Mama Burt. Hey, Mama, how you doing? How you? I love you. I love you, Mama. Yeah. All right. Umi is on here. Umi Sharif. I see you, Umi. Yeah. Oh, we got some powerful women on here now, brothers. We got some powerful women on here. Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. We got that on here too. Yes. Sister Barbara, how you doing, Sister Barbara? Yes, thank you for coming on. Thank you so very much. I got to acknowledge the sisters, brother. I'm sorry. I got to acknowledge the sisters. You understand? Sister Cynthia's on here. Oh, boy, we got some power on here, brother. We got some power on here. Absolutely. So we're going to move along as soon as she come on, and we're going to take it from there. She's logging on her computer now. They just text me, so she should be popping up any second. I want to thank you, brothers. See, we on time, brothers. We disciplined. We right where we supposed to be at this time. So if and I'm not just barring just to make certain, brothers, that there's no complications with this Zoom. All right, she's coming in right now, brother. She's coming in right now. I just let her in. I'm trying to see it pop up on the screen. Oh, Congresswoman, please unmute your phone. If you can unmute.
All
Okay.
right.
How you doing, Congresswoman?
I am great.
I want to first of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of your amazing schedule. I know you've been hitting the ground running since your victory. Congratulations on your victory. I heard a lot about you. I studied you very well. And so I want to thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to have a dialogue. And the dialogue is so that we can look at the opportunities to be able to see about the creation of an alliance, the voices of organic black men. We're not looking to join the Democratic Party, even though Chairman Leroy would love us to do that and come back to the Democratic Party. But we're not looking to join the Republican Party. But what we are looking at is to look at the possibilities of an alliance with someone like yourself, as possible, that can address our needs. The black community, you're gonna learn from us, because we're gonna be truthful and honest, and we're not gonna lie to you about anything. We're not monolithic. So there's no one way of thinking when approaching the black community, and nobody speaks for us as black men. We speak for ourselves. That's why we formulated the voices of organic black men, because we realize that we need to speak for ourselves, so there's no in between for individuals to say as if they speaking for us. We want to speak directly to those who are seeking our vote, and we want to be able to be involved on the front end and the back end. And brother Leroy Jones and Mayor Palmer, you can go back and listen to their amazing comments. I mean, I'm not going to pay them for it, but it was spot on. And so, we welcome that also. But I want to just thank you for this opportunity, and then we're going to proceed with the questions.
That sounds great. Should I give some quick opening remarks? Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you putting this group together and having me here. I always say, I always ground my work in hearing directly from the people I want to serve. And so I think this is just a really important group to hear directly from all of you, because I know one group is monolithic. And so hearing the various points of view helps me really address the key needs of people. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I share Leroy's um, hope that maybe one day you'll rejoin the Democratic Party. Maybe I can do that kind of work to help. But I do really appreciate Chairman Jones being here, and thank you to former Trenton Mayor Doug Palmer. And thank you so much for all of you for having me here today. My name's Mikie Sherrill. I'm the Democratic nominee for governor in New Jersey. I'm a former Navy helicopter pilot, federal prosecutor, reentry coordinator, current member of Congress, and mom of 4 kids here in New Jersey. Uh, I'll tell you just a little bit about my background in the Navy. I learned that it was always shipmate self, meaning that I've not gotten here alone. I've gotten here with coalitions of people that I have built. And I've always learned that when you are in leadership, it's servant leadership. You are serving the people as much as you are leading people, meaning listening to people, understanding how I can best address the needs of the community. It's why I want to hear from all of you about moving New Jersey forward. I'm also here because I want to earn your vote. But let me be clear, no political party is owed unquestioned loyalty from voters, especially Black voters. You deserve a return on investment from your vote, and I intend to deliver one. I know too often the Democratic Party hasn't delivered on promises and priorities for Black voters, and I share your frustration and anger at this status quo today. Because from the disparity study to the wealth gap to maternal mortality crisis to homeownership rates, it's unacceptable where we are today. And too often, career politicians think they can just advocate. But that's not my background. I look to deliver. I come from a very proactive place, the Navy. I'll be a different kind of leader, someone who listens and talks with you, not at you, someone who's ruthlessly focused on delivering change and delivering progress. And if what I'm doing isn't working, I'm going to change it and make sure it works. It's why my campaign is centered around creating intergenerational wealth through a more affordable state, including home ownership, the greatest source of wealth for most New Jerseyans. I also want to emphasize that this is just the beginning of what I hope is a continued conversation. I want to thank you for sharing your 14-point agenda with me. I've already shared this with some members of the Black Caucus who are excited to see this agenda so we can lay the groundwork now and hit the ground running in January. And I want to talk to you about a few of our shared priorities. So we're never going to make New Jersey more affordable and help Black New Jerseyans create generational wealth without making housing more affordable. It's why I'm going to expand our first-time home buyer programs, which will allow communities of color to build generational wealth. I'll go after the landlords who are hiking up mortgage and rental prices, and I'll protect the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to ensure that communities and families are able to access the resources they need to build that generational wealth. And we also can't make New Jersey the most competitive and innovative state in the nation and help Black New Jerseyans create and keep generational wealth until we fully support Black businesses in our state. As governor, you also have my commitment to take on the structural racism in state contracting that has largely kept money in the pocket of the old boys network. Some people say they want to address wealth disparities, but at the same time, they stand lockstep with an administration that has undermined the very policies and programs in place to address systemic inequality and develop Black generational wealth. As we expand access to housing and business capital, we need to ensure we're protecting our environment. New Jersey built this nation, and we have some of the environmental scars to prove it, and too often, Black neighborhoods bear the brunt of these negative environmental impacts. In Congress, I've brought home millions in federal funding to remediate harmful contaminated Superfund and brownfield sites. As governor, I'm committed to cleaning up contaminated sites, building on my work in Congress, and ensuring we're repurposing those sites in order to mitigate negative environmental impacts and bring good-paying jobs to Black communities across the state. Finally, we must end the gun violence epidemic that continues to traumatize communities across New Jersey. Just last week during a block walk in Trenton, I met a mom who lost her son Trey when he sacrificed his life to save two young women in a shooting. Trey was 19 and studying social work when he died as a result of gun violence. No parent should have to lose their child from gun violence, and none of our kids should have to grow up with the constant threat of gun violence. But we know that stopping it takes more than just getting guns off the streets. We know that after-school programming, summer youth employment programs, and community-led interventions are key to keeping our kids safe and setting them up on the pathway to success. As governor, I'll support community-led violence intervention and after-school and youth employment programs and work with communities to help eliminate barriers to access, including safe transportation to and from school and work. I also want to be very clear and candid about the choice in this election. I'm asking you to look at Jack Ciattarelli's record, not just his rhetoric. He's a career politician. He's going to smile in your face and tell you what he thinks you want to hear. He may show up at a barber shop, but he's never shown up for Black men when it mattered with his vote or his voice. He's consistently opposed police accountability like use of force reports and supports no-knock warrants like the one that killed Breonna Taylor. Trump says Jack is 100% MAGA. He won't name a single issue where he disagrees with Trump. He supports the MAGA plans to eliminate the Department of Education, and he believes that schools in our cities receive too much funding. Jack opposed Medicaid expansion and supported Trump's bill that will slash Medicaid and kick 400,000 people off their health care. He called diversity efforts, quote, affirmative action on steroids. He stands beside Trump, who's trying to gut financial institutions that give loans to Black businesses, saying those institutions push racial ideologies that poison the minds of Americans. So whether it's justice, home ownership, education, or healthcare, Jack is on the wrong side. He'll choose Trump and MAGA over you in New Jersey every single time. So we have a lot to do, and it's going to take a strong, independent voice to cut through the noise and bring change to Trenton. But as a military veteran, you guys know I'm not going to put up with the nonsense that holds us back because we have a lot of work to do. I recognize the social and economic inequities that have made it difficult for Black men to build and pass down wealth and to be consistent pillars in our communities. That's why my plans seek to correct these injustices, which will allow Black men to be the providers and community leaders you were born to be. So thank you for having me. Thank you to many of you who supported me during this primary, and I hope to earn your vote this November. Because together we're going to build something worthy of our state and worthy of our kids. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that introduction. I just want to let the ground rules. Each brother knows they got 30 seconds to ask the question, and then you have 3 minutes on each question on this timer. And so the buzzer will go off when you come in close to 1 minute. And
Oh man,
so it will end, and then the next person will come in with their question.
this isn't your first time working with elected people in elected office, huh? We sometimes like to talk.
I work with a lot of politicians, but I work also with a lot of preachers. So I know that you got to know how to cut them off, boy. They go on. Brother Jimmy Whitehead from Atlantic City. Can you unmute your phone and ask your question, brother?
Sure. Good afternoon, Congresswoman. From one Navy vet to another, go Navy. My name is Jimmy Whitehead. Yes, ma'am. I'm with the Atlantic City Business Roundtable, and I'm focused on cybersecurity workforce training down there right now. Well, the question is economic empowerment. Presently, Blacks make up 15 to 18% of the vote in New Jersey. However, the Democratic Party historically still receives the mass majority of the vote. However, in New Jersey, whites receive 85% of all state contracts, while Blacks receive just under 3% of state contracts. What are your thoughts about allocating 15% of state contracts to Black businesses and financial literacy, as well as crypto education for the Black community? Thank you.
Thank you. I really have to applaud the Black Caucus for pushing so hard to get that disparity study, because it is what we needed to really start to have the data to address the systemic inequality in the state contracting. And I'm very much in favor of making sure we put in place programs to address it. So in speaking to the African American Chamber and speaking to also the Hispanic Chamber, one of the first things I'll do is to disaggregate the contracts so that there are more people that have opportunities to bid for pieces of the contract instead of some of these huge contracts that only a very few developers can bid for. But that's a good start, and that's important. But there are also Black business leaders who can bid for some of these contracts and just aren't getting them because there's just such a few groups of the Good Old Boys Network that just always get the same contracts time after time. So I'm going to make sure that we address that and have a better bidding process to create more fairness so that we can get more access. Also, then having more support and between some of the programs that we run to increase access for Black businesses, making sure that people understand those programs. We have like a one-stop shopping for them. We have all these state programs that it's almost a full-time job to figure out what they are and who's eligible. So with a more muscular business action center, making sure more people have access to those programs to make sure that they are better situated to compete for these contracts. And the state, we are more aware of the people competing so that we can do better in our state contracting. That's a key plan of mine. And then as far as crypto, we have to better regulate crypto. I think we have to provide financial literacy for it. It's an important area that people, especially young people, are investing in. It can be very lucrative, but it's also right now, some of these platforms like Tether are really dangerous places to put your money. So making sure that we have a better regulatory environment. The federal government's put some in place. In some ways it's failing, in some ways it's moving forward slowly. So I really would like to see our state get involved in a lot of this so that we can make sure as people invest in crypto, they're both educated about it, but also aren't as putting their finances in as much risk.
Thank you. Brother Salam Ishmael from Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Salam Ismail, Director of the National United Youth Council, Incorporated, based in the great city of Elizabeth, New Jersey, better known as East Wick. Congresswoman, I heard your statement, so you addressed some of the other issues, but how about creating an advisory council for Black men to advise you on year-round issues so we could be in your ear on subject that basically impacts our community? And that on state policies and on basic concerns. How about developing such a council?
I really like this idea because, as I have said, and I, for people who've been in my district, I think they've seen this. I really do love having the voices of the people I'm serving, and I think it's so important. Just to give you an example of how this has worked in my district, we had a lot of car theft going on, so we came to the community to understand what would be helpful. I put together legislation. I went back to the community and they said, no, this isn't going to do exactly what we want. So we rewrote it. So that back and forth is important. So I think this is a great idea. I've already brought this up with the Black Caucus. They were interested in this as well. So I'd love to keep talking to you guys about what this would look like and love to have your voices at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Bishop Earl Jenkins, can you come on? Can you ask your question, please?
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Earl Jenkins.
Tell us what city. Yes. Tell us what city you're from.
Hamilton, New Jersey.
Yes.
I provide a fitness and certification program for the Juvenile Justice Commission throughout New Jersey. In fact, I'm heading to Jamesburg right now to check on the guys and so forth. And I just would like to know, what's your take on wellness and health and boosting mental health access and diversity?
I have a lot of thoughts here. I would love to talk to you more too on what you're seeing, because I think that, I think in many ways we do, unfortunately, address the crisis point of people's mental health and wellness. So addressing diabetes instead of nutrition. And I really would love in New Jersey to do better than that, to try to understand it. And again, this is where voices from the community is so important. I was just down at CamCare in Camden County talking to a doctor there, Dr. Santana, who grew up there, and she was saying they have an epidemic of obesity in Camden and asthma. And yet, because she grew up there, she said, she knows that you can't just send your kid out on a playground. Some of them are unsafe. So she's developed some Zumba classes, but better understanding that might mean that we could get some better public safety efforts going in the community so kids can play on the playground as we look at all of the social determinants of health, because we know if your child is obese, there's a chance they're going to get sick more often. You're going to stay home from work more often. That's going to impact the whole community. So I think health and wellness is so key. I would also add to that the mental health part. I just spoke to a pediatrician in New Jersey who was telling me just about every kid is now seeking therapy. Families are seeking therapy. So we don't have enough therapists for our children, which is a problem, but I also would suggest that part of the problem here is social media. And what I'd like to do is open up a center of excellence for social media at one of our colleges or universities here, because we don't, all the tech companies have the data on what the algorithms and what's going on online and what it's doing to our kids' brains, but we don't have the data. So really making our community more healthy, because I'd also add to that we have an epidemic of loneliness. And I think that's just across the board, from 17-year-olds to seniors, et cetera. So again, I would be really interested to hear what you're seeing as you go across, and especially in light of how people are feeling about RFK type stuff, how that's impacting the community's view, and what can we do to make sure that as we're addressing health and wellness, we're also putting out good information to the community on how they keep their children safe, through basic vaccine programs as well. And can we get to them and continue to talk to them with a trusted voice? And again, that's where I think you come in, a trusted voice in the community. Me saying it on a Zoom, that's not going to do anything for communities, right? We can't combat some of the misinformation going on. We need trusted voices in the communities to help with that.
Thank you. Brother Stephen Young, from another powerhouse down there in South Jersey.
Yes, Steve Young, how you doing?
Hi.
I'm an advocate and a activist. So we're gonna be the ones that hold you accountable, and anyone that's accountable when it comes to our agenda. So the question is, because Atlantic City is the economic engine for the rest of the state of New Jersey, and the poverty rate is very high. So my question is basically, when it comes to rehabilitation, when it comes to life skills training programs and housing and job placement, what would you do different than the other governors that we've had in the past?
Speaking in regards to reentry, right?
Yes.
Because she was a former prosecutor over reentry, so she should do good with this one. Go ahead.
Wow, you set me up. Set the bar high. I was. So when I first went to the U.S. Attorney's Office, there was a hiring freeze. And so I started as a worker on Eric Holder's Smart on Crime agenda. And so part of that was setting up the district's first federal prisoner reentry court. So helping people coming out of federal prison. And certainly on the front end, I mean, really what would be best is to break any sort of pipeline to prison that we have in our communities. We would call sometimes the school to prison pipeline. So making sure, we've done a lot of the evidence-based work, making sure we have summer youth employment, making sure we have high intensity tutoring if students are falling behind so that they can catch up. So I really do think some of that front end work with the youth is incredibly important, because the best result would be that people don't go to prison in the first place, that we can help people not enter into incarceration originally. But with reentry programs, what we found at our reentry program, and I'm always, gathering more data, because a lot of this has continued to, that reentry program has continued, I still hear from them and what they're doing differently. Employment is really key. And I know the judge said, your first job's not your last job, but employment and then the wraparound services, because if you're going to have employers take a chance on someone who's been incarcerated, it's good to have people in the community who the employer trusts to say yes. And if this young person, if this person doesn't show up to work, we'll find out why. Because sometimes people get sick and they don't go to work. But if they have a record, sometimes their employers just throw up their hands and say, oh, we can't, hire this person. Whereas if we have a group that can vouch for them and say, look, we went there, they're sick, or they didn't have a bus ticket, or their car broke down, and we're going to take care of it, and we're going to keep helping this person until they don't need those supports as they start their job and as they start to work in the workforce, and then we're going to help them advance. The judge would say often, your first job's not your last job, it's not your best job. We're going to keep helping you, support you into good employment. Mental health services is the other thing that came on in the reentry court actually after I had left, because they were finding that there was so much untreated trauma in the community that had to be addressed. So I think the other key thing is that health and wellness aspect, a lot of the mental health support that people need as they come out of prison. There's a lot of trauma involved in that, so that they can successfully re-enter the community, hold down a job, reunite with their families, and have really good success. So there's a lot I could talk about. I did this for years, but those are two of the key things I think are important in the reentry community.
Thank you so very much. Brother Amir Little, this young man, Congresswoman, he's fantastic, but he's limited to 30 seconds because
Uh-oh, you're getting a warning.
his question. But he's called the king of currency. Amir Little, can you ask your question?
Good morning, Ms. Sherry. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, so my question is, let me preface this. During the campaign of the Democrats and the Republicans, neither one of them addressed some of the core economic issues that we should have addressed. Like the taxes on gold and silver was not talked about, right? And financial literacy is very key and is important. We need to deem these things very, very important to our community. So we're looking to have members of our company, members of our membership to community workshops for youth and adults that focus on digital and Congress lady, what they call lawful money of the United States, right? Because the last governor vetoed the bill, but now we need some help from our new governor to institute these new financial literacy programs that for adults and youth. How can you help us with that?
Yeah, I think financial literacy is so incredibly important. And there are efforts being made across the state. And I will tell you, the good news is I am hearing things in the community that I think are really important about some financial literacy. So, for example, speaking about, I think there's a big movement in the Black community to move into home ownership. And I'm hearing that to create generational wealth. And so I'm hearing that importance and how people are focused on that and how hard they're working to do that, which I think is thoughtful. And then we have to just make it easier by driving down costs. But financial literacy also, as I mentioned before, is really important in crypto, because I know young people really like crypto and there's a lot of get rich opportunities, but it's also a very unstable market. And there's a lot of opportunities, if you're not smart about it, to really get yourself into some financial peril. And then to be honest with you, this gold and silver tax is the first time someone's brought that up to me, but I'm happy to go back to the policy team so we can get you an answer, and they may reach out to you to discuss it further. So we can understand that, but that would be helpful.
Thank you so very much. Bishop Robert Hargrove.
Yes, greetings, Madam Congresswoman. Robert Hargrove, native of Atlantic City, president of the Fellowship of Churches of Atlantic City and vicinity. My question is, how would your administration restore local control to cities like Atlantic City and fund civic infrastructure?
So Atlantic City, such opportunity. And I think the really key thing with cities like Atlantic City, I think Trenton's in this same bucket, two of the cities that have some of the greatest opportunities in our state with investment and support. I think what's really on my mind as I think about how we are going to build more homes, have more commerce, have more civic infrastructure, is how do we make sure as we do that, that the people of Trenton and the people of Atlantic City are taking part in that wealth generation. And so it was really interesting recently when I was in Trenton on that block walk, how the community was talking about getting people ownership of places in Trenton. I think the more ownership we can get, then as the wealth builds in those towns, as we build homes, as the value of the homes rise, the people of the towns can actually benefit from that increase. I think we're all very focused on revitalizing some of our historically really vital towns like Atlantic City and Trenton, but we're also really worried about gentrification, the downside risk of gentrification of the people in the communities not having access to that. And I think the way you do that, as you suggested, is focusing on the people of the community having control of how you build and how you do that with local control. But right now, I recently spoke to the mayor down there, and he was telling me that he thinks the state control is coming up and may continue, but I have to ask the governor's office about that as well. But if you have thoughts on how that could be transferred and make sure that that transfer works towards continuing the economic development of Atlantic City and investing in the people, I'd be happy to hear those as well.
Thank you so much. Brother, we're going to go back. Brother Salam Ishmael has another question.
Yes, Congresswoman, I know you kind of shaded a little bit on the gun violence. I lost my godson to gun violence in 2007. So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but one of the things that we've been working on, and hopefully you will concur, that we create an office on violence prevention and intervention. This would require legislature because we're asking all the counties to create such an office. That way, direct funding could go with those boots on the ground organizations, nonprofits like ourselves that go directly in the community, impact those community, intervene, and deal with prevention awareness. And which we believe that's what they're doing in New York, which is awesome. Would you be interested in doing such a thing?
Yeah, I am always interested in ways that we can drive down violence in communities. And we've certainly seen a lot of the programs that I think are really interesting. I want to make sure we're always gathering data on what is working and what is not, because I think all of you share my frustration that there have been a lot of programs and a lot of promises about delivering results for communities. And some of them have started to work, maybe been underfunded. Some of them have never worked very well. And some of them haven't really been invested in more than the paper they're printed on. And so I want to make sure that as we move forward on different programs, we are constantly assessing as to whether they're working. And if they're not, why? And what can we do better? So for example, the reason I'm so focused initially, right now in some of my work in Congress on high intensity tutoring and summer youth employment programs is because, like I said, you want in communities people not to go to prison in the first place. So what are those things that help kids succeed? And we looked around the country, and those two things, and around New Jersey, some of the summer youth programs here in New Jersey are doing quite a good job. So yeah, I love that idea. Happy to talk more about where it's working. I love the Arrive Together program that's going on as well with mental health, people arriving on the scene. So I'm just continuing. I want to continue to gather data on that as we put these programs out to make sure we're all succeeding. And if we're not, let's just not keep programs going that aren't working for the community. Let's now really make a difference in these tough problems. But that's great. That would be, I'd love to talk more about that too.
Steve Young.
Yes. Yes, most of us is boots on the ground and is always on the front line as black men, and organic black men in the community. But yet, when it comes to being at the table, we don't see ourselves and our agenda at the table. So my question is this: when it comes to slavery, because we need to talk about that in New Jersey, the involuntary servitude passed SCR 135 and ACR 125 to abolish slavery for incarcerated individuals in our Constitution of New Jersey. What would you do what can you do as the governor to make sure that that is ended involuntary servitude?
Yeah. This was something that, was really concerning as I was reading it, and I'd be happy to weigh in. Have you looked at how executive orders or legislation might address it? Just because the work to make a constitutional amendment can be difficult and longer. Have you looked at other opportunities as well to stop it right now?
There's presently State Senator Shirley Turner in Mercer County from Mercer County, Ewing Township, Trenton area. They have a bill that's just sitting in the Senate right now to be passed to address this very same issue. So there's been and the assemblies have sponsored the bill and in the Senate. So it's time to really go back and it's because
See
especially
what's going on.
yeah, because the problem here is Democrats control all three branches of government in New Jersey. So it shouldn't be a problem to get this through and address this particular problem. So it's something that, you know, we sincerely really need to look at in terms of how that can be addressed.
Yeah. I'll give a call over to the legislature and see what's going on.
Yeah, because if we have continued conversations with you, we will revisit these things again so that we make certain that
Oh, really? This won't be the last I hear of it.
you're doing well so far, kid. I have to tell you that, brother Julius Scott from Jersey City. Can come on, brother?
My question is about STEM and CTE. When I look back as an adult with my youth, one of the most important classes I probably took was shop class. It taught me a lot of life skills, and it made me have to learn how to read and do math and science. What is your plan to help extend those programs and also put an emphasis on those programs for the students to learn more about shop or STEM and career technical education?
Yeah. Um, you know, I think we're going to have to take a whole scale look at how we're educating children right now. So, the first order of business for me is to make sure that right now, every child in New Jersey gets a quality public school education. And unfortunately, even though I'm very proud of a lot of our public schools here, it still can very much be by zip code as to whether that is the case. I also really am focused on some of the neighborhoods where I really think we could build community schools, meaning schools that have not just education, but healthcare, health insurance, 3 meals a day, a snack, after school programming, high intensity tutoring, all the things to help in neighborhoods where students are going to need wraparound services to really do well to make sure that they're able to take advantage of opportunity. So those are kind of the where I start, and some of the opportunities we have to build kind of the magnet schools in the counties, like a county-based school. So those county-based schools and some of the ones that are actually our highest performing county-based schools have STEM and also have what we would have called occupational schools. And some of the occupational schools, it's not what we think of where it's only auto shop, although there is that opportunity, but some of it's also in the areas of computer science and programming, et cetera. So I think really looking at occupational schools as what are the occupations we're trying to train children for and where are the job opportunities. And I'll tell you, it was I did a debate in the Donald Payne Essex County High School, and it was amazing the apprenticeship program they had built to go right into some of the skilled labor jobs right out of high school, which are really high paying, good benefits. And it was great to see that they had built that because some of the apprenticeship program training, Mayor Baraka was telling me a lot of those training programs, and I've been to them, but you know, they're in South Jersey and hard for New Yorkers to get to. So if they want to enter the trades, it's more difficult. So making that easier. I think you're exactly right. Training students with the skills that they need to take advantage of opportunity. We could be really one of the foremost states doing it and rethinking education broadly. We're already seeing it in some of these community schools where kids are getting on a voluntarily picking a track as early as middle school to say, I'm going to go into the culinary arts. I'm going to go into policing. I'm going to go into a college track. I'm going to go here. The other thing I would add to all of this is making sure we're setting up kids for a lifetime of success. And by that, I mean stacking degrees. So graduating from high school isn't saying I'm college bound or I'm not college bound. It's saying, okay, here's where I get a job. Here's some certificates I can get in the job, and I can go back and earn an associate's degree, and I can work and I can earn a college degree in here, because I think that's what the workforce is going to require. So, yeah, the shorter answer is yes. And I think we have a lot more opportunity to create a great education for kids to go right into a good opportunity here in New Jersey.
Okay. Brother Joe Chappelle.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Your question.
I am here. Hello, Madam Governor. I'm foreshadowing.
I'm knocking on wood.
I have a two-part question. You mentioned earlier about directives for the EPA and brownfields designations in the state of Jersey. The question that I have is, there are several cities that are predominantly Black population that are not on the list of brownfield designation areas. Patterson is not on the list. Salem is not on the list. Newark isn't on the list. Who else did I see? Jersey City and East Orange. They're not on the list for those particular BDA from a federal or state standpoint.
That really surprises me.
Yeah. So I want to know, what would your directive or your suggestions to those who are in charge of designating those particular cities and those areas for brownfield designations? And the second part of the question is, from a employment standpoint, how is it that we can employ more people who may have a record in that particular area by providing those employers the fidelity bond, the $5,000 fidelity bond, which is free of charge through New Jersey to hire those who are formerly incarcerated?
So a couple things. New Jersey, it's kind of good news, bad news. In a way, New Jersey's been very lucky because we have a really robust economy. And so we do a lot of stuff in New Jersey with the Port Authority, with New York, et cetera. The bad news is we don't really take advantage as much of our federal delegation as I think we should. And I tell people, when I am down by the Supreme Court in Washington, there's a big house called Florida House. It's this big house right on the hill, and it's where all the Florida lobbyists bring people, members of Congress, members of the Senate, like over to try to pitch investments in Florida. And I think New Jersey needs to do a lot more. And so as governor, I'm going to have briefings with the delegation, say, look, what's going on this is what we're seeing going on in Congress. Here's what the state needs you to get involved in. So if we need more designations for brownfields, we can have our whole delegation, and we have a pretty decent sized delegation, and they're mostly Democrats. So when Democrats are in the majority, we have a lot of opportunities to really fight for some of the priorities of New Jersey and fight for more federal dollars to come back into New Jersey to invest in those areas. So I've already been looking at how some of the other states do it and some of the ways in which they direct money to come back into those states. And I'm going to build that out for New Jersey as governor, knock on wood. And then as far as getting previously incarcerated people onto some of these jobs, that's something I've always said. I don't think I think if you go to jail, you do your time, you get out. It should not be a lifetime sentence. It shouldn't it shouldn't be, you do your sentence, you get out. That should be it. You paid your debt to society. You shouldn't constantly have to be paying. You should be able to get ahead. And so the bonds, I'm happy to look at the bonds. I also think part of it is having a network that can vouch for you. So having people that say, yes, this is a person that we work with. And by the way, if, we'll give you our guarantee that this person is going to be a good worker and show up for, 2 years or whatever it is. And then beyond that, you're out. So then if people are trying, I can't tell you how many times the guys in the reentry court, through just the smallest of things, you know, not setting their alarm right, or getting sick, or their car breaking down, or suddenly, um, you know, there was traffic or something, wouldn't show up on time for their job like everybody else. And yet, because of their record of incarceration, their employer was ready to fire them. But of course, because they were working with the reentry court, the judge would call and say, look, this is what happened. You know, we're going to make sure he has a bus ticket, or we're going to make sure he gets there, or we'll send the probation officer by his house to make sure he's going. So just having those kind of wraparound services to vouch so that a lot of formerly incarcerated people have access to those jobs, and then can, after the employer becomes familiar with you and sees you're a good worker and stuff, then, that can phase out. But I do think having that confidence that people vouching for, someone gives an employer is really important. I think that just helps kind of pave over some of the everyday life experiences that every single person has experienced. But sometimes people who are formerly incarcerated don't get that grace that the rest of us get.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Brother James Osborne, unmute your phone. We're going to go back to this question because James is also a veteran.
Yes.
And we're going to go back to health and wellness as veterans. Can you go ahead, Brother James?
Yes. How you doing? All right. As a fellow veteran, you understand the sacrifices of service. There's over 781 homeless veterans still waiting for housing in New Jersey. And our state's 2026 deadline for functional zero veteran homelessness approaching, what specific priorities will you champion as governor to accelerate housing solutions, secure sustainable funding, and address barriers like childcare gaps or voucher safety concerns?
So this has been a lot of my work as a veteran myself, a lot of the work that I have done in Congress, and I will continue to work to do this. I've been working with I've been putting out information as some of our different veterans groups are building out housing in Hudson County for veterans, and assisting with that. I love some of the work that the veterans groups are doing to address that, continue to push in. I think making sure that veterans are aware of the services that are available to them. I don't think the federal veterans groups here, like the VA and stuff, advertise enough in New Jersey. They do elsewhere in the country, but ours just has never been as active as I want them to be. And I think, again, having our federal delegation in lockstep could be very helpful in pushing more of that into our state and holding them accountable for that. And then I've heard from a lot of veterans advocacy groups about some of the different programs that they see in other states that they'd like to see implemented here. So that's why we'll have a veterans advisory council, much like we were talking about earlier at this, about having a Black Men's Council and what that would look like. I'd love to see something like that with a veterans advisory council, so that we can push in on those things that are actually going to help veterans succeed here in the state.
Well, James, I guess you know what committee you going on or advisory.
You got to pick. I don't know if you want Black men's, veterans. We'll have to see. But I do apologize. I have to end it here. I'm so sorry because this has been such a great conversation.
We have two more questions that we need to slide in. Brother Bishop Hargrove, can you go, please?
Can you do it? Why don't we ask both questions and I'll quickly answer them both at once.
Okay, Bishop Hargrove and what's the other one? And Brother Salam. Go ahead, Bishop.
Yes, Madam Congresswoman, a two-part question. What measures are on your administration's agenda to support nonviolent offenders? And the B clause of that is, what can be done to assist individuals who have successfully completed paying their parole and probation fines, bringing them justly and wholly integrated back into society?
Okay. And what's the second question? And then I'll answer them both.
Second question, Congresswoman, this should interest you most. Voter participation, which is very, very bad in some of our underserved communities. What kind of investment to educate folks, make people more aware of the importance of Black community not only registering to vote, but actually participating in the voting process.
Great. So, as far as having people who have paid off their fees successfully re-entering, one of the things I'd love to see is the re-entry work. I would like it to start sooner. I would like to see it start when people are actually incarcerated. I think it's a waste to have people incarcerated and not be providing them with the tools they are going to need to successfully reintegrate as they leave prison, because obviously that will be better for them and for their families, but also better for society as a whole. And then, as you've heard talk about how they can successfully do that, I do think the wraparound services remain helpful. It's easy as you're trying and you're struggling to reintegrate into society after incarceration, as I saw when I was working in this space. It's easy to give up. It's easy to get down. It's easy to have one little stumbling block and feel like that's it. Everybody's coming after you. You lose your job. You get in a fight with your family or something. You're losing your house. You're struggling to find a place to live. There's just a lot of ways in which it can be very, very difficult and very tempting to just give up. And so I think continuing to have that support as people re-enter the community, to continue to have people that really believe in you and have been through this with other people before and can help guide you through that, and can kind of help get you back on your feet. And certainly the mental health aspects of it, I think, often go underappreciated. And so pushing in on that when people need that to continue their re-entry process into society. And as we've been saying, not have a prison sentence be a lifetime sentence, that you can successfully go beyond that, I think is really important. Voter participation, as you've mentioned, has been very, very low in our cities, where traditionally it's been very high. That's something we're still delving into and looking, and we'll be trying different things, including we have a Black media expert to get in front of people where they're at. We like to meet people where they're at, and getting in front of them where we can do that. We go on Spanish language radio and television programs. We are continuing to work on local newspapers, just very hyper local outlets to get in front of people. We'll be doing canvassing and phone banking. And then I would think different rallies. We don't have those planned out yet, but certainly would like to see rallies in some of our cities and stuff to continue to get out the vote and communicate with people. And then a lot of people are getting information from places that we're still exploring, podcasts, influencers, etc. So again, really trying to find where people are at and communicate why it's so important and what's at stake in this election. So we are continuing to delve into it. I wish I could tell you I cracked the code and you're going to see incredible turnout in our cities. I'm working to crack the code, so more to follow.
Well, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for coming on. I think this has been very fruitful. I think that the brothers are very pleased with what we heard thus far. And I want to thank you again, Congresswoman. And I want to thank our brother Leroy Jones and Mayor Douglas Palmer and the sister Baptiste in your office. She's been very very amazing. She's been a very amazing lady, and she's a good person. So give it an
I
afternoon.
think so, but it's always nice to hear it. Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time. As I said, I think this is really an important group, speaking on so many issues that I think have such impact, and yet don't always come up just kind of as you're going to some of the different groups. So these are your I like your name. Your organic voices are really important, and I think I would love to continue to hear from you. And I really appreciate you all taking the time today to talk to me about this.
1 second, Pastor Rodney Brown, young man up in Essex County. You in West Orange, right, brother, Pastor?
Yes, yes, sir.
He's going to close us out in prayer.
Be unto you from God our Father and Lord Jesus Christ, to all of our kingdom citizens, our kings and queens, and to we're speaking it. The Bible says, speak those things that be not as though they were, to our Madam Governor. And the way that things are going to manifest in your life. Eyes haven't seen or ears heard the great things that God has for you. I'm going to start with Psalms 91, and then we'll close out with our prayer. Psalms 91 says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shall thy trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the noisome pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee." Lord, we thank you and we give you glory for this day. It's a day that you've made, and we rejoice and we're glad in it. Father, you told us that Luke 18:1 says that men should always pray and not faint. And now, as we build up in our faith, as we build up in strength, as we build up in love, as we build up in care, as we build up in character, as we build our communities, as we build our families, as we build up our country, we speak divine protection over every citizen that is represented on this line and every citizen that we represent. We thank you for the choice that has already been preordained, for the choice that's already has been made, that you spoke before the foundations of the earth. But you told us in your word, faith without works is dead. And Father, what we believe, it shall be manifested through the work that you've empowered us to do. Strengthen every man, strengthen every woman, that we may persevere in the things of you, and everything that we see in vision, it shall become a reality. In the name of the Lord, amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your participation. And most importantly, brothers, I want to thank you for being very disciplined. You were very disciplined. I'm very proud of you, and I'm gonna send you some donuts. All right. Thank you again. May God bless each and every one of you. No, they don't have Krispy Kreme up there. They got Dunkin' Donuts. So the brothers that outside of New Jersey, y'all get some Krispy Kreme. New Jersey folks will get some Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you again, brothers. I love you all with a perfect love. And Congresswoman, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you for this opportunity. All right, brothers. Yes, likewise. Likewise. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Peace, brothers. We out of here.